One of the things that I've always wondered is why is there an angel with a flaming sword at the east gate of the garden? And I've thought about it for a long time, and I've just really kind of savored that mystery. At first, I thought it was because it was to keep humans out. But I have another theory now that seems to make more sense. It's time and space. That's what's being excluded, and that's what's being held at bay, no longer able to enter, or never able to enter, because time and space are not a construction of the divine. They are constructions of the prince of this world. And they are insoluble constructions, which is why science, or maybe even some would say scientism, has failed to really understand the dilemmas caused by space and time. It has a lot of attributes that are enticing to view, but in reality, they are not reality. So I think of the common perception game of is something existing if you don't look at it, if you don't see it. So the question is, if you're not looking at something, is it really there? And that has been a stifling kind of question for a long time, because some say if you're not looking at it, it's not there. And others say, how preposterous. Of course it's there. If you're looking at the moon, it's there. And if you don't look at the moon, is it not there? Well, it's not a word game or a mind game worth really considering, because it's the issue of forgetfulness. We forget the moon is there. Because we forget the moon is there, it doesn't mean it's not there. And this very simple explanation carries a lot. As we forget, we absolutely forget. And so the connection to the divine hierarchy is a way to remind ourselves of that which we have forgotten. But back to the real issue, which I was meditating on, which is the issue of time and space. Does time and space really represent a model of reality that can be believed in and can be understood? And the question that I come to now is no, it doesn't. Reality is not about time and space. It's about something different. It's about psychic energy and the structures that make up the kind of world we've yet to really understand. So if you read through some of the Hermetic teachings, particularly those of Valentin Tomberg, you begin to understand that reality is made up of what he calls crystalline forms. And these are geometric spaces which constitute the nature of reality. And they are spaces that have density. And I think that's something really powerful to understand, that there is a density. And that density is what it is that prevents the angels from being seen so readily, because they don't know how to deal with density. So they wait on the edges of things, the edges of the crystals that make up reality, and they wait to be summoned as much as they can be receptive to our presence here in the density. So that's something to really think about, that the world we live in is really dense, and it's the density of time and space. So we live in it, but yet it's not really the reality that we seek to understand. So it's stepping out of time and space and remembering who we are that is the key to the model of what reality is. That's my meditation, and that's what I have been seeing more and more. The other aspect of this that's so incredible is that understanding reality in these contexts means that reality is personal, it's intimate, which is the whole essence of forsaking personality in this world to assume our identity and calling in the divine hierarchy. What a glorious thing. We can move out of density and into light as beings of light. So this kind of meditation is one that's boundless, I think. It's just opening up the world in ways that are intensely personal. And I have experienced that in my meditations early on, a kind of bodily physicality. It sounds like a contradiction, but a physicality in my meditation that affects me in my body. I can feel it. I can feel the meditation. I can feel the lure of the garden. I can feel the longing and yearning that invites me to reconnect. But how I can reconnect is by leaving time and space behind, leaving that for those who marvel and wallow in computational realities, which can never be really worked out. The math just isn't there. And we've seen it time and again. So the maths are exercises in futility and vanity, when the reality is personal and psychic. That is the nature of the world that I meditate on every day. And it's what gives me enormous, I guess I don't really know the right word, what it does. It creates in me a longing, a yearning for what lies beyond the flaming sword. And in order to find out, I have to leave time and space behind. I have to leave my personality behind, which revels in the material world. So that is part of the essence of the work, is to set aside personality, to set aside the understandings of the personal world. It's not that the personal world is evil. It's just a remembrance not worth entertaining. It is worth forgetting. And that's one of the essences of my meditation. And I pass that on to you, that you might consider that time and space is something of a false construct. And I advise you to read the works of Valentin Tomberg, a Christian hermeticist, and understand the magic that is the coming of Yeshua and the presence of Yeshua as your magical understanding of the nature of reality that we can participate in by lifting our sights to Yeshua, to embrace him on a personal level, because ultimately that's the most true expression of our connection to the divine hierarchies. It's personal and very intimate. Amen.